You ever see those guys who just seem to have an unfair advantage? You know the ones. They get the opportunities, the respect, the attention, and it all seems so effortless. Well, today, we're going to break down exactly what that advantage is. And here's the secret. It's not about adding something new. It's about removing 5 specific mistakes you might be making right now.
So, what's the secret sauce here? What's the one thing that really separates the men who command a room from everyone else? Well, the answer might actually surprise you, because it's probably not what you're thinking.
Most of us, our minds immediately jump to the obvious stuff, right? Good looks, a ton of money, maybe even fame. And look, yeah, those things don't hurt, but they are not the root cause. The real answer, the thing that's at the core of that unfair advantage, is something called high status.
And this is where all clicks. High status has nothing to do with your bank account or what you see in the mirror. As you can see here, it is purely about how other people perceive you. It's all about the signals you're sending with your body language, your confidence, and just how you carry yourself.
And that, honestly, is the best part. You don't need to go out and get something you don't have. This is all about subtraction, not addition. You just have to stop doing 5 specific things that are probably lowering your status without you even realizing it. So, you ready? Let's get into the first one.
First up, and this one is huge, showing insecurity. You might not even know you're doing it, but trust me, it can sabotage you before you even open your mouth.
You see, a lot of guys might actually be confident on the inside, but they have no idea how to project that. So they do these little things that just broadcast insecurity to the whole world. Walking with slumped shoulders, not holding eye contact, or just looking kind of nervous in a simple conversation. They're subtle, but they are powerful, low-status signals.
And that's really the big separator, right? High-status men get this. They understand that in social situations, perception is reality. So even if they're having an off day, they make a conscious choice to not look like they're lacking confidence.
And remember, the goal here isn't to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. It's just about being mindful, making small tweaks, and focusing on progress. Just get those little details right one day at a time. Okay, let's move on to mistake number 2, being too nice. I know, that sounds totally backward, doesn't it? But there is a massive, massive difference between being a kind person and being a people pleaser.
Let's use an example. Imagine you're on a date. You give her a genuine compliment. That's awesome. That's being nice. But then, over the next hour, you give her 10 more. See what's happening? You've slid right down that slippery slope. You've gone from being polite to being too nice, and it just comes off like you're trying way too hard. So the takeaway here is really simple. Be a good person. Be polite. But the second your niceness becomes a strategy to get someone to like you, you've immediately put yourself in a low-status position. You have to respect yourself first.
All right, mistake number 3 is another one that's super subtle, worrying way too much about your appearance. Now look, taking care of yourself is important, we all know that, but there's a limit. Just think about this for a second. When you're out with someone, who's checking their reflection more? If you're the one constantly fixing your hair or adjusting your shirt in every single window you pass, it sends a pretty clear signal. So why does that even matter? Well, the source material talks about this idea called attraction polarity. The basic idea is that attraction often sparks from a contrast in energies. When you seem overly preoccupied with how you look, it can disrupt that confident, masculine frame. It's not about being a stereotype, it's about the vibe you project. Moving on to number 4, and this is something a ton of guys do without having a clue. They just speak too softly. Your voice is a direct pipeline to your confidence level. And you know what? There's a really simple scientific reason for this. It's because of the way sound vibrates through the bones in your skull. To you, your voice always sounds way louder than it actually does to everyone else in the room. So, the fix? Super simple. Just make a conscious effort to speak a little bit louder than what feels normal to you. I promise, what feels loud inside your head is probably going to sound perfectly normal and confident to everybody else. And finally, we've arrived at number 5. The 5th thing high-status men never, ever do. They never appear too eager. This is a mistake that just screams desperation, and it can tank your value in any situation. To really get this, let's use a fantastic analogy. Picture this. You're at a car dealership. You find a car you like, and just for kicks, you throw out a crazy lowball offer. You ask for $10,000 off the sticker price. And instead of laughing you out of the building, the salesman's eyes light up. He practically jumps over the desk with a huge smile and says, "You got it! Let's sign the papers right now!" He is way too eager. So what's the very first thought that pops into your head? It's not, "Wow, what a great deal." It's, "Hang on, what's wrong with this car?" Right? His desperation just made you suspicious and completely devalued the car.
And that illustrates the point perfectly. It's just human psychology. We value things that are scarce, that are a bit of a challenge. When you come across as too eager, whether it's in dating, in business, in anything, you are communicating desperation, and that immediately lowers your perceived value.
So, there you have it. That's the checklist of things to avoid. Stop broadcasting insecurity, stop being the too nice guy, don't obsess over your appearance, speak up with confidence, and never ever seem desperate. Avoiding just these 5 things will fundamentally change the way people see you.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. When it comes to getting the life you want, which story is more important? The one you're telling yourself inside your own head, or the one your actions are telling everyone else?